What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. And in this video, we have the British tribute to 9/11, one of the most horrific tragedies here in modern American history. When 9/11 happened, there were so many people who lost their lives. There were so many families who lost a loved one. And this is a tragedy that I pray America never has to experience again. This was definitely a tough one for the country, and for the British to pay tribute, that's absolutely incredible. So if you happen to enjoy this video, please don't forget to subscribe, give the video a like, and if you like to support this channel by becoming a member, you can tap that join button and receive exclusive benefits. And without further ado, we're gonna dive in. This is gonna be two videos mixed, kind of rolled into one.
Richard Bilton reports.
It was a unique gesture. In a show of support, the Queen broke with tradition. Changing of the guard was altered for the first time. Thousands gathered, quietly joining in as the band played the American national anthem.
I think it's just an incredible sight. Although 9/11 was an absolute tragedy, to see the British kind of feeling that sympathy and mourning with America, like, that's truly something incredible to see them come to tears. It just kind of shows you that relationship between the UK and America and how close both countries are with each other. So that when tragedy struck America, it was also felt in Britain. And I think that's truly special of the British. Shout out and thank you to all the British who supported America during this time.
And after the cheers, a silence, a pause to think of those touched by this tragedy. As what has happened sinks in, here in Britain, emotion and despair are increasingly on display. Thousands of people in this country have been caught up in this tragedy. In terms of victims, this is the worst terrorist atrocity to hit Britain. And throughout today, here in the grounds of the American Embassy, people have been arriving to pay their respects.
I want to give support if I can. I want just to be here so that they know the British people are thinking of them.
I'm grieving. I want to be with people that are grieving. I need to get home so I can go to funeral.
Previously reported to us as being missing.
This new bureau has been set up at Scotland Yard to help coordinate the search for the missing. 100 British people are known to have died. Hundreds more are unaccounted for. A cabinet minister has been appointed by the Prime Minister to help relatives here.
The suffering of families facing the uncertainty about what's happened to their loved ones is absolutely dreadful. And that's why we have to do everything possible to ease some of the burden of responsibility and worrying about the whole range of practical issues.
No section of...
I think that's literally such an incredible thing from the British to just want to help and support in any way possible to let America know, like, hey, we're here. And I didn't even think about the fact that possibly some of those lives lost in those buildings could have been from the UK. I just never even thought about that for a second. And so I'm sure there are British families, right, who lost loved ones. And that's just, it just sucks. Seeing human life lost for any reason, for anything, it honestly and truly just sucks. You wish it didn't have to happen.
The community has been hit harder than the city. Another silence today in London's financial district. So many colleagues still lost.
Wow.
Really felt quite unreal. And I think the full impact of this will not really get through to people for maybe weeks or months in some cases.
And many individuals are trapped in a terrible waiting game. Trudy Freeman has still not heard from her former husband, the father of her children, who worked on the 105th floor of the first building to be hit.
Yeah, I just feel that I'm not doing too much, although, you know, I'm searching on the internet. I can't physically go around and look at the hospitals and try and find him, especially if he has no ID on him or he's unconscious somewhere. So I just really want to get out there and just physically search for him.
The attack was on another country thousands of miles away, but it is having a terrible effect on so many people, so many lives here in Britain. Richard Bilton, BBC News.
Yeah, for that pain to just be felt by the British as well, for them to be in such support. I mean, you can't ask for a better ally than that. For someone who grieves when you grieve, and someone who offers a helping hand and to do things that, certain logistics and everything that in a time of need, man, you can't ask for a better ally than that. The Brits are truly, truly special. Absolutely special. We're going to go ahead and watch the next video and dive right into that one.
Of the nearly 3,000 people who lost their lives on September 11, 67 were British victims. A memorial service was held at London's Olympic Park,
67.
while the Queen paid tribute in a message sent to US President Joe Biden.
20 years on from our greatest ally's greatest tragedy, this was a very British way to mark the anniversary of 9/11. The sound of the Star-Spangled Banner at Windsor Castle, part of a special changing of the guard ceremony. It accompanied a message from the Queen to Joe Biden, celebrating the strength of those who responded to the call of duty and those who stayed to rebuild. My visit to the site of the World Trade Center in 2010 is held fast in my memory. It reminds me that as we honor those from many nations, faiths, and backgrounds who lost their lives, we also pay tribute to the resilience and determination of the communities who joined together to rebuild.
Yes.
At the event was...
Shout out to the Queen, man. And R.I.P. to the late, great, absolutely incredible Queen Elizabeth. And the fact that, right, 67 British lives were lost in 9/11. That was unbeknownst to me. I hadn't even thought about it, but there were so many families grieving in the UK that had lost a loved one that was struck by this tragedy. But even the families who didn't lose someone in the UK, even the people who didn't, they were still grieving for us in America. They were still there by our side in America, and for the Queen to honor America, man, that's just special. That's just truly an amazing relationship between the two countries.
The acting US ambassador, moved by a gesture of friendship, solidarity, and unity.
It's almost hard to find words to reflect upon what that means to us and the importance of the US, UK, United States, United Kingdom, united together as friends and as allies. And for that, we are immensely grateful.
At the Olympic Park, a charred chunk of metal taken from Ground Zero was a backdrop for an afternoon of remembrance.
Oh, wow.
There were 67 British victims that day, including John Egan's father Michael and Aunt Christy.
At that moment, I saw the planes hitting the towers crumbling, replay, and quickly realize that my life in the world was going to be changed forever.
They watched as the Prime Minister said the spectre of terrorism has only served to strengthen transatlantic ties.
But while the terrorists impose their burden of grief and suffering, and while the threat persists today, we can now say, with the perspective of 20 years, that they failed to shake our belief in freedom and democracy.
Yes, they did. And if anything, they united the people. In that, although tragedy has struck, terrorism has struck in the U.S., what did happen was you saw the citizens coming together, not just from the U.S., apparently from the U.K. as well, all coming together. And that's an incredible thing, especially here in the U.S., a country with so much division. It's sad that it took a tragedy like that to bring everyone together, but it did. And that was something special.
Here and across the country, a mixture of young and old came together to reflect on a moment that has helped to shape the world we live in today. Sir Richard Dearlove was head of the MI6 at the time of the attack, and he hopes it continues to provide a lesson for years to come.
I hope that a lot of young people today will know enough about what happened to reflect on the significance of having commemorations and understand, why we have to make a determined effort to root out extremism.
Thinking about the present, today was a reminder September 11th, 2001 lives on in the hearts and minds of people on both sides of the Atlantic. Shingi Mararike, Sky News.
Shout out to the British, man. I can't show you enough gratitude, enough thanks for just being there in the moment when America was down. You just standing by us. That's all we have. Please, if you saw these events unfold on TV, if you were old enough to truly understand what was happening, or if you weren't old enough but understand it now, just get in the comment section. Let me hear your guys' thoughts. That's all we have. If you enjoyed, don't forget to subscribe and like and check out the next one. See you guys next time.